guys, it is Ben, aka the Fuse Box. It has been a hot minute since I did a recorded video. I am quite pleased to talk about a subject that has been the center of controversy, and it is completely misplaced. I'm going to talk to you today about Hogwarts Legacy, the most politically divisive bit of entertainment this year. I played through the game. I was going to play it on my channel. Basically, my internet connection is so screwy. Playing it on the channel and talking about it, like, I'm not good with that when it's a new game that I've never played before. I like to play through a game and kind of get to know it before I review it in depth, on a stream. So I instead just decided to play through the game and that I was going to record my thoughts for you all. Basically, this game has been overhyped and it has been condemned. There's no reason for either one of those. The game is good. It's not as good as I was hoping it would be. This game offered a lot of freedom. It was supposed to be a very open world RPG, and it does live up to that, but it's still very linear, and I feel like I just wanted more options when I played. I think one of the things I was really anticipating was the ability to get a Patronus, and there's no Patronus or any of that. The way it starts off, this game takes place in 1899. Your character has been chosen to start Hogwarts in their 5th year. It's something to do with the fact that your character has the ability to see traces of ancient magic. That was probably the coolest part of the story, in my opinion, was like the strange connection to this ancient form of magic that other wizards don't have access to. You were able to do things that they couldn't do. And it also sets you on the main story. There's members of the Hogwarts faculty from like the Renaissance era. Their spirits are guiding you on this journey to uncover this hidden power that the leader of the Goblin Rebellion is trying to get at. I think the concepts in the game were really cool, but they were not thoroughly explored enough. It got to be very straightforward. The leader of the Goblin Rebellion is your straight up enemy. There were really no twists and turns in the story. It was very much, you knew who the bad guys were from the beginning of the game. Everything was very predictable in terms of like where it was going to go. The only thing that wasn't predictable were the intricacies of the story about your mysterious connection to the magic, the old Hogwarts professors who discovered this magic in the first place, and what they went through. So yeah, that was kind of a downside to me, was just the very predictable nature. I did enjoy certain angles that they took that differentiated it, especially from Harry Potter. And it was that one of your best friends in the story is a Slytherin, and he does go down a dark path as you would expect a Slytherin to do. But unlike other Slytherins we've seen in the Harry Potter franchise, he's actually driven by good intentions. He's trying to help save his sister who's been cursed, and he's willing to go to lengths that he shouldn't go to save her. He's willing to learning dark magic, but he's doing it for a selfless cause, which was a nice twist. And he really, like, by the end of the game, like, even though he's made bad decisions, you're still friends with him, and he's still at his core a decent guy. And I really liked that, because it's like normally when you think of Slytherin, you think of just the evil elitists. So it was nice to get like a Slytherin who was relatable, who had more three-dimensionality to him. And they did the same thing with one of the old Hogwarts professors from the Renaissance era, named Isadora. She's sort of the source of this issue with the ancient magic. She also was trying to help a family member of hers who was suffering badly. There's a really nice philosophical thing about, in your pursuit to do good, are there things that you should accept that you just can't change even if they're bad? That was the good stuff. Really good meat and potatoes there in the story. My biggest issue with this game is the fact that the time period really does not match up with to dynamics in the game. What I mean by that is this is taking place in 1899, yet most of the faculty at Hogwarts are Asian. There's a Middle Eastern teacher, there's a teacher who came from Africa, there's a teacher from India. Basically, it's a very diverse staff, and it's 1899 in England. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Like, some of the wizards, the way they dress, it feels more modern, and even like in Hogsmeade, one of the pub owners is openly trans. And it's like, that did not happen in 1899. This would have made a lot more sense if it took place in like 2023. They could have easily made this game like something that happens after Harry Potter, but it's clear that they threw that stuff in there to appease the very people who are labeling this as an evil game that's meant to be a genocide simulator, which it wasn't. It presented the Goblin Rebellion in very fair terms. Your main villain, Ranrock, is overzealous. There are goblins that have legitimate grievances, that Ranrock is taking everything 20 steps too far. Teaching staff is very diverse, but my biggest complaint with them is the fact that most of them seem like one-to-one copies of the teachers from Harry Potter. Your flying teacher is basically a Japanese version of Madam Hooch, like same personality, just different race. The charms teacher reminds me a lot of Professor Flitwick, except he's Arab. The potions teacher, he's a former Auror, but he looks and acts so much like Snape. There's very little difference between the two. The teachers that are different, there's only one that I find interesting. I did not like the groundskeeper. He's Korean, British, and he's like clearly a drunk, and he's just not really that interesting or likable. And the whole time I was talking to him, I'm thinking, God, where's Hagrid? I miss Hagrid. This is a poor substitute for Hagrid. I liked the headmaster of the school because they went out of their way to make sure that the headmaster was the polar opposite of Dumbledore. Unlike Dumbledore, he's not wise, and he's not liked by anybody. He's a complete asshole, and he happens to be an ancestor of Sirius Black. And I believe he was voiced by Simon Pegg. So, I mean, that kind of adds to it, but at the same time, you know, like, it was just fun to see, like, okay, we've got kind of the reverse going on here on some of these aspects. So, all in all, I would say it's a good game. It's fun, but it's still lacking in certain areas. I would like to see this story fleshed out better. I would like to see more options added to the table, particularly with like capturing beasts. There's a part in the game where you capture magical beasts and you put them in a special area in the room of requirement, and it's meant to be kind of your extra credit for the beasts class. Like, all you can really do is feed and groom them and get magical fur and feathers from them. And I would have liked to see taking a creature out with you as like your companion. They help you out in a fight. You can ride more of them. You've got only about 2 options for riding creatures, and they're creatures that you meet as part of the story. So like the rest of the creatures you capture, all you can do is feed them and brush them. Let's incorporate that more, like the magical creatures. That's a fun aspect. Integrate that more with your exploring and combat. The combat is very fun in this game. It's very fluid. You feel like you're in a real duel. The spell casting is very quick. Like, it makes you feel like a badass. It's good stuff. Just all across the board, I would have liked more options. Game. It feels like they sold it. You're building your wizard from the ground up. We're immersing you in the world, and that's only partially true in my viewpoint. There really was room for more options that they just didn't do. And I mean, I find like that's kind of a big issue that happens in a lot of modern gaming. So yeah, I would give this game all in all 7 out of 10, maybe 7.5 out of 10. I feel like a lot of that could probably be solved with like DLCs, but God only knows if they're gonna actually do many DLCs for this thing. Only time will tell, because it was a big financial success, and there's a strong chance they're gonna do a sequel. Before you do that, try to beef up this one. I would recommend it. This video, of course, is full of spoilers, but I don't think I gave too much away. I covered the overall vibe a bit of, but all in all, yeah, I would recommend the game. It's fun to play. It doesn't take too long to beat though, which I'm not very happy about. But anyway, if you like anything I had to say, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Be sure to hit the bell for notifications. Hell, if you didn't like anything I had to say, go ahead and hit the dislike button. It feeds me. I get fed, negative or positive, doesn't matter. It gives me power. Thank you so much for joining me once again, ladies and gentlemen, and I will talk to you all later.